What's up, guys, and welcome to Resort Originals. We're back for our part 2 of our 2-part video series regarding what I want to see in Pokemon Sword and Shield. Please click the link above if you want to see part 1. Let's get it started. One of the trends that we have been getting with the starter Pokemon since around I would say Gen 6, was getting out of the 3 starter Pokemon, one of them was to be a more feminine design to that evolution. Now, I have that issue just for the fact that I only have 2 Pokemon to choose from, and just as a male, I prefer more male designs. But I also understand from the female perspective that they may want more of a feminine design, and that totally makes sense. So I think the best way to be able to combine both tastes towards Pokemon is to give a female and male design for that final evolution, where you get to choose how you want that Pokemon to evolve. And I think that would create a much more interesting decision for what your starter Pokemon is, because you're no longer looking at just what the design preference you have. You get to see, okay, I get to see the female route and I get to see the male route in that evolution chain, and I think that'll just create more customizability within the Pokemon community, and I think everyone will just enjoy it so much better just because we get that much more of a selection from our starting Pokemon. A good example is the evolution chain of routes, where you can go for the route of Gardevoir or you can go for the route of Gallade. Now, they're both great designs, but someone just might have a preference in one other gender direction. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So you guys get to just choose what you'd rather go for that. So in the end, we all win. Now here I am going to reiterate pretty much what everyone has wanted for a decent amount of time now, and that is post-game content. Now with the post-game content, we basically have had very little. Once we're done playing the main story, we close the game for good, unless if obviously you're going to try to do some shiny hunting, or you're in it just for competitive battling. But if you're not into either of those two things, that's it. You put the game down and you wait a year for the next game to come out. I want to have tons of tasks to still complete after I beat the main story. A good example of tasks to be able to complete throughout the story and the post-game are within the games of Spider-Man PS4 and Red Dead Redemption 2. You guys know it's an open world style game, but there's so much more stuff to do than just the main story. So allowing all these side missions to be able to maybe be considered throughout the story of the game, but also the post game to have different missions around those lines, I think would be a welcomed addition to the franchise, and hopefully it can stick around for much longer. DLC isn't the worst thing in the world either. I would definitely be willing to fork out $10 to $15 for a DLC to create more story within the game, or potentially a new Pokemon to be able to catch within that new story. That's something that I have my hopes on high, but as far as expectations go, pretty low, but we can always hope. Unlimited trainer customization is my next goal for Pokemon to be able to reach. With your own character, there's one thing that I still feel like is very similar, and that's our body and our face. All you really do is choose the pigmentation and the skin color, and other than that, we are all the identically same person, other than just the outfits we choose from. Where I want more customization as far as choosing the eyes, choosing the nose, choosing the ears, choosing more options for the hair, doing the bone structure, being able to choose the size, the bulk, the age. There's so many things that we can do to really make this character our own that you see in myriads of games, except for Pokemon. Now Pokemon, they're doing a better job at it, but I think that they really need to take the next step and really bringing that to the next level. One of the biggest things that I was a fan of was the old art style with Pokemon for about generations 1 and 2 and kind of 3. Once we hit 4, they all started to look very similar as far as the eye style goes, and they even changed it within the anime as well. As far as Sun and Moon goes, they changed that pretty differently, but we'll see if that sticks around for the Sword and Shield anime once that comes around. Being able to choose old school eye designs, being able to get more of the thinner eye, doing maybe the Brock eyes, but just creating that more option to choose what you want to be, I think is something that pretty much everyone would want. I don't understand why you want more to be able to customize your character more. So just bringing that is something that I would definitely be happy if they started to integrate a lot more starting right now with these games. So the last thing I want is being able to create an opportunity for old fans and young fans to be able to get together and enjoy one game as a whole, and that is with the plot and the storyline. A good example of this is what we saw in Generation 5. Now it's more of a controversial generation due to the fact that the Pokemon designs were not exactly something that most fans wanted. For me personally, I did not like them, but the story was kind of ruined for the fact that a lot of us were paying too much attention to the Pokemon designs. So if the Pokemon designs are on par and we're able to make a great story that I can relate to, a child can't understand, would be such an amazing accomplishment for Pokemon that would be the new standard that we can expect going forward. Now, hopefully we don't go a route as far as what we got with Generation 6, where they just wanted to blow up the world because they wanted to see it beautiful again. I don't think that's a good option. They want to make something that's plausible, something that we can get behind, maybe something that we can almost potentially understand what they're doing and why they're doing it, but understand that we are the good guys and we have a job to do, and that is to prevent that from happening for whatever that situation is. So with Sword and Shield, we might get something as far as with rulers, with kings and queens, and people who have maybe diverted themselves from that higher echelon of hierarchy within how the Galar region is ruled. But we will only have to wait and see, and I think it'll be a fun ride to figure out what we can get as far as the games go, but that's what I have for this on our list. One thing that's been lacking since Generation 5 is the new Pokemon that come to each generation. Within Generation 6 and 7, we had about 60 new Pokemon to be able to come to that region. And now I am not including Alolan Forms, Mega Evolutions, or Legendaries because I feel like they're in their own kind of category, where I like to see what the regular Pokemon that I'm able to catch on the routes are throughout my original time span throughout the game, rather than post-game, where like right before you get to the 8th gym leader when you're able to catch it. So the fact that we've only been able to catch right around 60 new Pokemon is kind of frustrating, especially for the fact that we had over 150 in Gen 5, 150 in Gen 1, 100 in Gen 2, and so on. It was always about 100 and up for the first 5 generations, and then it started to scale back with the last 2. That could because there are becoming so many Pokemon, they may not want to continue to bring out tons of new ones, but in the end, I mean, that's the best part about Pokemon, is being able to see all the new Pokemon that are out there to be able to catch and add to your team. So if there's one thing I could ask, is bring at least 100 brand new regular Pokemon to Generation 8 of Sword and Shield, and I'll be a happy camper. Just make sure they're good designs, unlike Gen 5 at me. Thank you guys so much for watching. It is so much appreciated for you guys to be able to make it to the end of the video. Please support me on my channel, like, subscribe, don't forget to ring that bell, and please comment what you would like to see in the next Pokemon game as well. I'm going to give this to Ash Ketchum, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
Hey trainers, Ash Ketchum here to thank you for watching the Poke Resort. Become a Pokemon Master by subscribing to Austin's channel. Don't forget to see his other recent videos so you can watch them all. Pikachu and I have surfing lessons with Austin's Alolan Raichu. So, we'll catch you later. Ha!